Now, I know a lot of people prefer Meshmixer for most of their 3D model splitting and joining and minor edits and things like that. And I'm not against it. I still use it from time to time. But I wanted to show you 3D Builder. You may even be turned off by it. I was at first. Like many other apps and programs from Microsoft, they just don't seem worthy. But based on many recommendations, I tried it, and now I use it almost exclusively. It's what I do all my cutting with, joining, and things like that, because a lot of other software has a lot of trouble with booleans, especially cutting a model out of another model. And it usually does a much better job than most other programs. But I'm going to show you the basics of cutting up a helmet into smaller pieces to fit on a smaller print bed. In my case, I'm going to be printing this one in resin, so I'm going to cut it up. I'll be mixing in Tech with my resin so that it's not so delicate and it will be a little bit stronger. And I'll be doing this on a Photon M3 Max from Anycubic. The reason being, I want a nearly perfect finish when I'm done with this helmet, because sanding all the detail areas is very difficult. This will make it a lot easier. I won't really have to sand. If you've finished anything FDM printed, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's no fun. So resin printing rarely needs any sanding at all. I mean, maybe a light touch. So this will be a lot easier. Make a much smoother finish. I'll also show you how to do some other things with 3D Builder at the end, but for now, we're just going to focus on the splitting. And if you don't already have 3D Builder installed on your Windows 10 or 11 computer, just get it from the Microsoft Store. Just do a search for 3D Builder, and then you'll have an option on the right to install it. Mine says open because I already have it installed. And when you open 3D Builder, you can load your object, or you can work with one of theirs right here. You got all these options, a lot of different stuff you can play with. But since we're going to be working on a helmet, we want to do load object. Then just pick your STL file, whatever it may be. We're going to do the Death Trooper dome. And down here it says one or more objects are invalidly defined. Click that spot to repair it. This can take a while depending on how bad the problems are. It usually does a pretty good job repairing, but just zoom in on it to make sure that there's no irregularities on the surface of the design. Sometimes it can leave like a wood grain texture. As for navigating in the 3D environment, you use your left mouse button to rotate, to move it around. Your right mouse button moves the entire scene. Scroll wheel zooms in and out. And as far as I can tell, the middle button doesn't do anything. And this file comes from CG Doofus on CG Trader. And this is my favorite model for a Death Trooper helmet because it comes in pieces, meaning it's going to be a lot easier to paint because you got different colors. If you look at the actual paint job for a Death Trooper helmet, there's like gunmetal, flat black, gloss black, and to do it right, this model makes it easier because you print all the parts separately and then paint them the color they're supposed to be and then just put them together. It's easier than taping everything off. So after loading our object, we're going to go up to Edit, then Split, and you get this plane here. And the way this works is you move this green plane up and down to wherever you need it. I kind of want it on this groove that goes around the front here. That way to hide the cut a little better. And I'm going to need to rotate a little bit, so I'm going to go down here to the bottom and hit the rotate button. This is rotate and this is move. I can use the arrows or I can type in a number right here. I'm going to put in like 1. That didn't work. -1. Too much. So we'll try -0.2. And just keep experimenting basically until we get right on the line. Now I can move it up and down, check where it is. Right now I've got it on keep top. That's because I want to be able to see what I'm doing, where I'm cutting. When it cuts the two pieces, you're going to have an opening. You can see it through the plane here between the two pieces right here. Don't worry about it. It will be closed up after you split it. Make sure you put it on keep both before you hit split. If you want both pieces, that is. And now we got two pieces. I have the top part and the bottom part. Now I want to keep them both selected and then go up to split again because I needed to split it in 4 halves, vertically and horizontally. So I'm going to hit split again, and now I'm going to use the rotate button to do it on a 90. That'll put it straight up and down. And again, I'm going to hit keep top so I can see where I'm putting it. It makes it more clear, a little easier to see. Move it to where you want it. I'm going to try to put it right here in the corner. Right there at the end of that cut line. Then make sure you hit keep both again. And then hit split. And now we have 4 pieces. The only problem I have with 3D Builder is I can't select one of these and export that one piece. It'll save every one of them when you hit save as. That's the only thing you can do. You can't export, you basically save the file. So what we're going to have to do is deselect all of them. We're going to delete them one at a time until there's only one left. And then we will save that one. But before we save this one piece, let me show you how to drop it to the plate. If you save it floating in air, so to speak, then it'll stay that way in the file when you load it in your slicer. So to bring it down to the plate, you want to do Object and hit Settle. And then what that will do is bring the part of the model that's closest to the 3D build plate down to the plate. But I'm not going to bother with this model because the cut pieces are the parts that I want to put on the plate. And I'll do that in the slicer. So now we'll just go up and save as and save this one piece. I'm going to put a new folder here. And you can use STL format. I prefer 3MF. It's a smaller file size, easier to work with. But you can change it to STL. I'm going to make a folder called Resin Dome. It's going to have all 4 pieces in it. And I'll name this one Back Bottom. Now after that's saved, I'm just going to basically hit Control Z to undo all the way back to all the 4 pieces are back. And then delete the other 3 pieces and save the front bottom. Just like we just did with the back part. And this is going to be called front bottom. And then again, Control Z till they're all back. Delete the 2 that we already saved. Delete another one from the top. Save this one as front top. And again, Control Z until I get those 2 back, and then delete the front one. And I'll save this one as the back top, so I have all 4 pieces saved. So that's the basics of cutting up a model with 3D Builder. Now we're going to play with these shapes up here so I can show you some other features, the things you can do with models. You can add a custom shape, which will let you type in the sizes you want. Or you can use any of these pre-made shapes. We're going to start with a cube. We'll put in a cube, just click it and it'll put one in. Then we're going to put in a cone, it puts it right in the middle. So we're going to have to select it over here and then go down to move. And then we can move it around. I'm going to move it and put it on top. The nice thing about 3D Builder is it snaps. So basically when I move it to the middle of the top of this cube, it's going to be right in the middle. And when I scale it like this, it's going to snap it right to the edges. Now to make these 2 one file, I'm going to select all and then go up to edit and then use the merge option. Now there'll be one piece. Now I can hollow this model. I can hit hollow, select my wall thickness, and then hit hollow. I'm going to go about 2.6, maybe 3. Yeah, let's go 3 millimeters. Then hit hollow, and now it's hollow. And to show you that, I'm going to add another shape. I'll add a cylinder and I'll cut it out. That's really easy to do here. So I'll go up to Insert and select Cylinder. And again, it's in the middle. You gotta make sure you move it out of the way. Now I'm gonna hit the Rotate option and turn it around about 90 degrees. And then you can move it wherever you like. I'm gonna put it right in the center for now. Then I'll scale it. Just want a little hole just for demonstration purposes. Now move it back up to the top. Now what you need to do is make sure that it's deep enough to cut all the way through the wall. Right now it's just on the surface. So I'm gonna deselect all of them so that I can select just the cylinder. Or you can just hit the cylinder icon over on the right. And I'll move it into place wherever I like it. And then I'll go to scale, make sure that it's unlocked down here, otherwise it's going to scale the whole thing. I want to scale just the length. Now I can just pull the back part of it and make it longer. This way I can assure that it's going to go all the way through the wall thickness. Now I just hit subtract and it's gone. There's a hole in its place. That's how easy booleans are here in 3D Builder. You select the object you want to cut out, hit subtract, and then it's gone. So this is an option if you want to hollow a model for resin printing, and even adding the holes if you want to do it here instead of in your slicer. This might be easier for you than the slicer. So just one last example. I'm going to add the dome back in, and we're going to put a cone on his head, just for the heck of it. A unicorn. So I add a cone, and I'm going to move it up to the top. Right now I'm in the scale option, so gotta make sure you're on the move option to move it. I'm going to move it up to the top. Then select rotate, rotate it in place. Then select all, and back up to edit and merge. Now I have one piece. I can save this as STL file or 3MF, whatever you like to use, and then you can print it with a spiked dome, uni trooper, if you will. Save it as a STL. Now here's the differences. I'm going to show you now the difference in size. Here's the two dome spiked. 3MF is 6.29 megabytes. The STL is 21 megabytes. One of the main reasons I like working with 3MF, it's easier on your slicer and anywhere you're going to use the file. And just saves space if you have a lot of STL files. And most slicers support it at this point. So it's as easy to use as an STL file is, so I recommend trying it. Install it, load it up, grab a file, and go to work with it. If you have a project you actually need to split up, try it. If not, then just experiment to get used to it, or continue using Meshmixer. I just think this one's easier. And that's it. If you want to see anything else with 3D Builder, let me know and I'll post it.